The following is a Hoop Ball presentation. Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast.
Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today show for July 25th, 2019. My name is Nir Rochlani. I am joined once again by the wonderful, the one, the only Josh Millman.
Players only, baby.
That
was for you, Besperus.
Yes, we are actually going to do a mock draft in honor of Dan Besperus tonight, because we know how much he loves it, and we're going to do a first round of a mock. But before we get into that, let's mention the show is sponsored by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. Josh, you have them just as souvenirs, right? You don't actually drink the Kona coffee.
I need to buy. So we're on video talking.
Yes,
but I have the bags that I'm showing Neil. When we do our Hoop Ball DFS contests, if you place, you get a wonderful Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee coffee gift package, if you will. And I won the DFS so many times that I have a whole bunch of Kona Dark Roast bags that I've officially placed as trophies in my official Hoop Ball man cave. So I'm very proud of it. I need to buy a coffee maker is the next step in the equation. Yeah. And then I can't wait to wolf it down. So I'm very happy, and thank you, Kona guys.
Maybe we can get Hoop Ball to buy you a coffee maker for all the work that you do here.
I can't wait to have that conversation with Brewski.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so a couple of things on today's show. This week Dan's been going over his lessons learned, or Fantasy 101, I should say, which is somewhat lessons learned and the way he approaches fantasy. He's also been mocking all the mock drafts, so we thought we'd throw that in there. So today, Josh and I, there's not much news, right? I don't have any news. NBA news.
Well, what we have a member of the Dan Besperus old man squad, the really old man squad. Pau Gasol signed a 1-year deal with the Portland Trail Blazers. So I saw that come across earlier today.
With Portland.
Yeah, with Portland. Yeah, it's to me, there's really no fantasy relevance there. He fell off a cliff last year, but they don't have a whole lot of depth or big guy depth with Nurkic. In all likelihood, missing a portion of next season due to his injury. And they need someone behind Whiteside. So, maybe he chips in, 10, 15 minutes a night or so until Nurkic gets back on the court.
Yeah, he has no fantasy relevance. You're right.
No.
You're right. No. I was thinking Nurkic is out probably till the spring, if I'm correct. And then
I haven't seen too many detailed reports on the timeline.
Yeah, I could be exaggerating that. Certainly, they got Whiteside for a reason, though. He's going to be playing all those minutes. So, You're right. Gasol probably just a guy to not screw it up when Whiteside's not in there. I'm guessing. Yeah,
just a veteran guy. They're a solid veteran team. I think he'll mesh well there.
All right. Yeah, that's slim pickings for news, though. If that's all, that's all.
There was also Jakar Sampson, who believe it or not was if you look at Basketball Monster, Jakar Sampson was a top 20 player last year. He signed a 1-year deal with the Indiana Pacers, so some depth. As if they don't have enough depth, they've got some more depth. And Furkan Korkmaz agreed to a 2-year deal with the 76ers. Again, these are just super deep filler type guys. Korkmaz, I feel like he was a good shooter, but just buried on that bench. But maybe he can carve out a bench role on that Philly team that really doesn't have much of a bench and doesn't have by way of strong 3-point shooting. So you never know.
I think both those players are decent players in their own right. If they were to somehow find their way into the lineup because of injuries, which happen all the time, maybe at that point you can plug them in. I mean, sometimes bench players you don't ever want to plug in, even if they're starting, because they're just not that good. But these guys are actually pretty good players. So
yes, they are.
So if they get that opportunity, they could be worth it. But right now, obviously, maybe, I don't know, 20 very deep leagues.
Yeah. Only the deepest of leagues.
The deepest I've gone is 14, and they wouldn't be relevant there. What's the deepest league you played in?
Oh God, I did a 24.
Oh,
team.
God bless you. You got to know the whole entire league then, right?
Yeah, well, this is one of the like how I started getting more into hoop ball. Like I forget how I discovered it, or I heard it on one of Dan's podcasts when they started 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I said, I've never done anything like that, and I figured I'd give it a try. And it was a giant cluster. So I couldn't. So
are you one and done then on the 2014?
No, it was 2 years, but I don't want to get into it. The league was kind of there was an issue with a trade that I was involved in, which again, I don't want to get into it. It's just it didn't sit right with me. And I've moved on from it. That's all.
Yeah, trades can break up friendships.
It is a long, convoluted story. I feel like I may have written about it like on the site once, but I basically said never again, and I'm done. So,
well, I'm sorry to end it that way.
It is what it is. No big deal.
All right. So we thought we'd have a little fun today. And I thought we'd do a first-round mock draft. In other words, you and I are just going back and forth.
Yeah, dude, I'm good with that.
Or maybe we could do a 12-team. I mean, we could do like 24, so we each have 12
I'm cool with that.
Right.
I'm on my laptop, so I can keep track of this in Excel if we need to. So I have let's do.
I almost want to do this and then just like. We were talking before we started recording about that, set it and forget it, and just see who would win between these two.
Yeah. Let's do. We might as well. Listen, it's not as if you and I aren't going to not record in the future. So maybe we, even if we only get through 2 rounds, maybe we'll stop and then pick up 3 and 4 over the next few podcasts or something like that.
All right. So 2 rounds.
2 rounds.
This is nuts. I am. You want to go first?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Thank you for the volunteer. That was very kind of you.
Yeah. I want to give you the option.
Thank you. All right. So wait. And ground rules. This is a 12-team, 8 or 9 cat.
This is going to be. What do you like to play? 8 or 9?
I'm typically 9 cat.
All right, we'll go with 9 cat.
Okay.
All right. So so is each one of our picks for a different team, or is it just for our own team? Because we're going to have 12 players.
Well, we're going to have to manage. Yeah, it's essentially like we own 6 teams.
All right.
Basically.
Yeah. So I'm going to do my 6 teams.
So,
right,
but we'll do it. But we'll do it as like you said, set it and forget it. It's not as if like we're going to do waivers for all 6 of the teams that we're going to own. We'll draft and we'll just see how things go over the course.
And
of the season.
Let's try to maximize the 6 teams. Let's not sandbag like 5 of them and try to just get one stack.
No. I want to be serious. No. I would be serious. This reminds me of. Did you do the career league with me last year? No. Oh,
I haven't even heard of that one.
I got so this was something that Panda and I invented. Like last year, we started the career league. And I got to revisit this. And oh crap! Now I'm putting myself on the spot because we started the career league, and a bunch of us got involved in it. So it's a full-on 12-team career league with rules that I made up. But the point of the story was that Panda and I, to test out the rules and everything, did our own 2-man 12-team mock with the career league.
Okay.
And it was just. Oh, it was a whole barrel of laughs. Like, it's crazy because even like we were doing the same thing where we were alternating picks and we were like sniping each other, even though we were only like 2 people like doing like this whole thing. We were still like, he would pick him and we'd be like, crap, I can't believe you took that guy. Like it was a lot of fun.
I would love to take that guy's a genius, by the way.
He is.
He's like a fantasy savant. I know. Okay, it's crazy.
It's hard for me to keep up with him sometimes.
All right, so 9 category. We're going to say Roto, just for fun. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Because
Yeah,
we're not going to be doing playoffs. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right.
You got the first pick. You're on the clock. Any other ground rules you want to lay out here before we do a couple picks?
I think we covered it. The other ground rule is I win automatically. Like
that's the ground rule.
Can we go with that?
Yeah, sure. Fair enough.
Well, but I'm going to stick with my guns because last week we did our top 10 or like our initial discussion off of ESPN's wacky rankings.
Yes.
I'm going to stick with my guns, and my number 1 overall pick is Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. He's off the board. All right, I'm just going to write yours that have been taken. Okay. I am taking...
You're stuck already?
I'm stuck. I'm going to go with Steph. I'm going to go with Steph.
Wow. All right, yeah. Steph.
See, I don't... Well, these are different teams, thank God. Because if you had Davis and Harden on your same team, that would be ridiculous. Okay, go ahead.
No, I know. It would be ridiculous. But yes, pick number 3, I'm going with James Harden.
Yeah, fair enough. I will go with wow.
Man,
I'm not prepared for this.
I can't. I know. Like it's unbelievable. I can't believe you're stuck on.
I know. I am overthinking this. All right, I'm gonna
go. Do you want to restart and you go first?
No. Jeez, you're mocking my mock. All right, I'm gonna go with Giannis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Team 2.
Giannis, and I'm going to go with Karl Anthony Towns, number 5 overall.
God, you're taking all my players. Third,
see, I told you, even 2-man, like you get like into sniping each other. You know?
Okay, this is where it becomes a little interesting.
Yeah.
So give me a minute.
No.
All right, I'm going to go with Jokic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. See, actually, like that Jokic, so in full transparency, I was messing around and attempted to do a single man mock.
This is how this would inspire me.
But not for nothing. So I want to backtrack a second. So we'll continue our picks. But we were ripping on Dan because that's what we kind of do here. We're ripping on Dan because like on Monday, he's been doing all the lessons learned and all that and the Fantasy 101 or 201, and he was like, you shouldn't really do too many mock drafts, because what if you're biased a certain way or whatever else? And I'm sitting there listening to it. And I'm like, dude, I want to do all the mock drafts. And he was like, Adrian does 50 mock drafts. And I'm saying like, dude, good on Adrian, man. Like that, like I love mock drafts. I go to sleep dreaming of mock drafts. That's like what we do, man. So like I did it just as, like, all right, I'm bored. Let me try to, knock out some time. And I tried to imagine a 12-team mock draft in my head. But like after a while, I was like, man, I'm struggling here to like try to make combinations for 12 different teams. So I like quit it like about round 5 or so.
That's still a very big effort to try.
It was a big effort.
Yeah.
But like, again, just practice makes perfect, I guess. All right, so I'm on the clock.
You're on the clock.
Number 7 overall. I think this is a bit of a toughie also, but I am going to go with Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard. That's probably the first non-conventional one.
Yeah. Wait, we said 9-cat roto, right?
9-cat roto. Yeah.
Okay. Right, so it's all right. Go on. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with Embiid.
Okay. See, this is where I'm struggling a little bit because see now, like I'm not a roto guy. I'm more of a head-to-head guy.
Oh, you can think of it as head-to-head. That's fine if you want to.
I know, but it's also like I don't know. Again, we're making up the ground rules as we go along. Like if it's roto, is it like max games played type of thing?
Oh yeah, but it's going to be 82 games, right? That's how I would do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right, so 82 games. So you know what? I'll in that case, I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball with my number 9 overall pick.
Yes.
Maybe it's not that big of a curveball. I'm going to go with Brad Beal.
Oh, that's not that. Yeah, that's
not that big of a curveball.
No, I'd take him in the first round. That's not.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
I
just didn't want you to take him. I wanted Brad Beal. I'm all about Brad Beal this year. So.
Shoot. I'm going to go LeBron.
Wow. LeBron. Okay, so to round out my picks in the first round, I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. I was deciding between the two.
Okay.
Wow.
You get back-to-back now here, so.
Oh, I do. That's right.
Yes.
I get 6. Okay. I'm going to go with... Am I missing somebody? What am I?
There's a lot of basketball players to choose
There's
from.
a lot of basketball players to choose. I'm going to go with Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
And then
Not
on
bad.
my snake back, I'll go with Rudy Gobert.
Okay, so you've got Rudy Gobert and Jimmy Butler. Okay. Kawhi, crap. I can't do this now because the next guy on my board would be his teammate Paul George, except I don't love the idea of pairing up two guys on the same team necessarily. You know what? I'm going to go with Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. How did I forget about that guy?
I don't know.
I'll go with Paul George.
All right. See, I ran my mouth.
Josh, you're helping me.
I know. Oh, God, that was dumb. Like, why am I like talking across the table here? Let's see. Brad Beal for this team, and my second pick after Brad Beal is going to be. Oh God, this is unexciting. Nick Vucevic.
Yeah, very good. I was going to take him next.
Okay. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Okay. You were going to wait. This team's Embiid. You were going to take Vucevic and Embiid. You were just going to make.
I was just going to go monster, big. Yeah.
Monster, big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do I go next? I've got Embiid. Maybe I'll go with. I'll go Kemba.
Okay. Good pairing. I like that pairing. Embiid and Kemba Walker. I like that.
We'll see.
I like that. I'm going to go with. All right. So the next pick is with Damian Lillard, who was 7th overall. I am going to pair Damian Lillard up with Andre Drummond.
Interesting. He's off the board. Okay. I've got Jokic, and I'll pair him with. Gosh.
See now. This is like I don't mean to interrupt, but this is what we were talking about last week because we're now in the second round.
Yes.
And we're kind of like, oh God, what man, this is like a struggle all of a sudden. We made it through like the first round like relatively clean. And even that like after like pick 6 or 7, you really got to think hard about it.
Oh, I had to think hard on pick 2. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. But my point is that we're already doing these exercises and we're at the second round. We're like, man, it gets dicey in some areas. This is going to be a year where it's like this area of the draft into the third round is going to make or break everything because there's so much variability with some of the injuries and the player changes that happen this offseason. It's going to be bananas in most drafts.
I agree with you. I'm going to go with Drew Holiday.
That was done with confidence after my whole soliloquy.
Well, he was my first instinct, and I just
that's actually another good pairing, Jokic and Holiday.
Oh.
I mean, you're slow on the trigger here, but you're kicking my butt. I feel
so?
like
We'll go through the.
I don't know. We'll go through these. We'll wrap up the first couple rounds. Karl Anthony Towns was number 5 overall pick here, and I need to pair him up with. Oh boy. Yeah, now I'm kind of struggling as to where to go. Karl Anthony Towns, who's solid. Let's see if I don't want to pick him. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it.
Don't do it. Russell Westbrook.
Oh my God, that was huge. Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You want to go back?
Oh, I don't like it. But it's just, I'm basically just praying that like his free throw shooting and field goal efficiency just is aided by the fact that like hopefully D'Antoni will keep him from hucking up contested 2-pointers, and that maybe just Harden's influence will just take a little bit of the burden off of him and just help his percentages. I don't like it. I don't like it, but look, I'm this is a 2-person mock, so I'm willing to make the leap there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think D'Antoni doesn't have much control over
You're probably
type A
right.
Personalities. But anyway,
this is me just talking and justifying like my terrible pick. Oh God!
All right, I'm gonna pair Giannis with. I'll go with Blake.
Wow, Blake Griffin. Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
No.
James Harden. I'm gonna pair him up. Miles Turner.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah, no, that might be my favorite team right now. James Harden and Miles Turner.
All right, Steph with yikes.
Yikes.
Boy, this is tough. I'm going to go with No, I don't think I'll do that. Yeah, you know what? What the hell? I'm going to pair him up with Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, going point guard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's the best player available, in my opinion. So
fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, and I'm going to pair him up with. Let's see. No, I don't want him. You know what? I'm going to go with my board here, knowing that if we keep this exercise going for the next pod, I can always like shift gears. But I'm going to take my next guy off the board, Pascal Siakam.
Wow. Siakam climbing to the second round.
We spoke about this last week. I am all in on him.
All right.
All in.
Let's go through our top 10. What do you got?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. So,
however you want to do it. You want to do teams? You want to do top
12? Let's go through our teams. Like we'll go through it in order that we just did it, and we'll give some of our initial thoughts. So the first team, which is one of mine, is Anthony Davis and Pascal Siakam. That's an interesting pairing now that I'm like thinking about it. Percentages should be like pretty great from the forward/center position. It lacks threes obviously, but Davis can chip those in. So can Siakam, but like probably needs and I'll probably need like a pure point guard at some point. All right, Stephen Lowry.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, Steph, I think is the number one player this year.
Okay.
And so that's why I took him. Although I don't think 9 can. I kind of just punt turnovers. And Lowry was just the best guy available. And I know it's
okay.
The one good thing about mocks, as Brandon Marcus was talking about today's show, was you get to find out about positional scarcity as you do go along, and we'll find out if I'm missing out on a big man because of this. So I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah. Like it could be. Yeah, it could be that point guards fall off a cliff at some point, or big men. It's interesting to see, and like I typically do that also when I do my mocks. I just kind of go with it. I don't really target any one category necessarily. I kind of let the draft come to me, if you will, and go from there. Team number 3, which was James Harden, and I paired him up with Miles Turner. I really like that pairing.
That's probably
I love that pairing. Right
that
now.
Might be the best pairing on the board.
Yeah, James Harden and Miles Turner. Yeah, if you pair up James Harden with Miles Turner in your draft, and we're talking about this in July now, but I imagine that like any time you pair James Harden with Miles Turner, go ahead and run through your draft room naked because that's just awesome. That's awesome.
You've got every category.
You got it locked down.
You're in a great position for every category, and so you can round out
You can do whatever you want with the rest of the draft, basically.
All right, so I had Giannis, and then Blake. I don't know why I picked Blake.
I was a little skeptical, but I don't know. I'm not entirely anti-Blake. I think it might have been a little early, if I may critique.
Oh yeah. I actually don't. I never draft him in real life. I just picked him because I never draft him, and I thought we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
I think he's motivated to play hard.
I think so. He's had some great stretches. I don't think that he's necessarily going to be a top 20 player.
We'll see. His percentages were solid last year. It's just
it's
his defensive stats that scare me.
Yeah.
That's really it.
But Giannis can help you in those departments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay,
we'll see. We'll see how that works. All right, what do you got?
Number 5, Karl-Anthony Towns and Russell Westbrook. I tried to justify the crap out of this earlier. Towns is great. He is who he is. Westbrook, again, I figured I'd just pair Towns with a point guard. Now that I think about it, I kind of regret this pick. But at the same time, again, I'm banking on maybe just Russ hopefully learning a little bit in a new setting, playing with Harden, and his percentages improving as a result, knowing that he doesn't need to just play at that hyperdrive, speed that he's accustomed to, with the pairing of Harden. So I don't know. It might be wishful thinking to me. Again, I regret the pick. I tend to avoid Russell Westbrook in drafts, but hey, for this exercise, it was kind of a coin flip, right?
Yeah. You never know how it's going to work out. We'll see. Yep. Jokic and Holiday. I think that's a solid.
I like this pairing.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's fine. Yeah. I feel like that's a decent team to start.
It is a decent team. I agree.
Yeah.
It's no Harden and Turner, but
it's not great, but it's not bad.
But it's not. Yeah, I like it though. I do. Yeah. I do. Number 7, Damian Lillard and Andre Drummond. I didn't mind this pairing so much because I think what Dame does well is what Drummond doesn't do well, and vice versa. Dame, score, 3-point shooter, excellent at the stripe, whereas Drummond, is bored, is a banger, and doesn't shoot well at the stripe. And we'll chip in some blocks here and there. So I like the balance the two provide, because if you're going to swallow Drummond's free throw percentage, you got to pair him up with someone who takes a decent volume of free throws and does so at an excellent percentage. And Dame is that guy.
Yeah, we'll see how they balance out. I'm curious to see if it's enough to carry him up. But if you have other good guys out there on this team, you might be okay with free throw percentage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Embiid and Kemba. This could be
that could be a very interesting combination.
It could work out. It could be kind of a flop. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
Brad Beal and Nick Vucevic. I don't mind this pairing either. Again, I'm very bullish on Beal. Vooch is, again, he is kind of who he is. I think he kind of had his peak season last year. He'll be back, but I don't. It's not super exciting to have him, but I think he's solid. And he should deliver top 15, top 20 value. We hope.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. LeBron and Paul George, very weird pairing, but
teammates at last,
and I don't know how this is going to play out, but I do like having two wings, so that way I can kind of, and two wings that do a lot of different things. LeBron's sort of point wing, so you got the assist there. I'm not
fair enough. Yes, exactly. Yeah, point LeBron is going to be really interesting this year. Yeah, we harp on the free throw percentage, but LeBron's gonna have the ball in his hands all season. He may have a career high in assists, when it's all said and done. Number 11 on my last team, Kawhi Leonard and Kyrie Irving. I don't know, man. Kawhi it's all about the rest and the games played. But on a per game basis, he has top 5 potential. We all know this. Kyrie Irving is kind of the same thing. It's just he has he finished top 10 on a per game basis. So it's not as if like the talent's not there. Is it just, is he going to be healthy? And how is he going to do in a new Brooklyn environment? But there's too much potential there, especially if those guys exceed their projected games played.
Yeah, I think that's a fine pairing.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler and Rudy Gobert. I like that pairing as well.
I like that pairing too. Yeah.
I think that'll be fine. So obviously your favorite team is Harden, Turner.
Yeah, I love that team.
And who's your least favorite team?
My least favorite team right now, and I'll ask you the same question.
Yeah.
Like on the I don't know. I just Towns and Westbrook. I just gun to my head.
Yeah. I guess I'd go with Jokic and Holiday.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think that's not that bad of a combination.
No, that's my favorite team.
Oh, that's your favorite team. Oh, okay. I was going to say
that's like a tie with Butler and Gobert.
Okay.
Those two.
I do like the Butler and Gobert combination as well. So.
And the one I'm kind of regretting is Giannis and Blake. Both those guys I drafted too high.
Really, you think? I think Giannis's four is totally fine.
I was thinking about going Towns. Actually, we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, Blake. Sorry, buddy. I think you overpaid for him there.
Yeah, so I'm dropping Blake and I'm picking up somebody else.
Nope. This is recorded. You got to stick with him, buddy. But let's keep it going, man. Like, for the next time we're on, we'll keep it going. We'll see how this shakes out.
All right.
So,
all right.
Any other final commentary on our little mock exercise here?
Oh, just take that, Dan Besbris. You and your
that's right.
Drafts.
That's right. We love the mocks.
Mocks
here.
are like a pint of Ben and Jerry's. A nice way just to relax at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And just
exactly.
Get
love it.
That emotional comfort that I get.
All right. Give us all the mocks.
Anyway, if you have any thoughts about this, you can hit us up on Twitter. Obviously, you're at Josh Millman, right?
Yes.
I am at Ball with Neil. And but we're not done yet. We're going to do one more segment here on the show. Dan, like I said, has been doing his fantasy. Well, actually, do you have any final comments before I move on?
No, I think we're good there.
How many of these picks did you regret?
How many picks did I regret?
Yeah, after making. You said Westbrook, right? Anyone else?
Westbrook was definitely the biggest regret. No, I don't have any other regrets really.
Yeah, I think
I think like what we'll do is the next time we record and we do like rounds 3 and 4, I think like it'll start to crystallize a little bit more. Like, oh, I should have done this in rounds like 1 or 2, versus based on what else comes our way. Because I feel like the Westbrook thing is going to come back to bite me in the keister, but we'll see.
I have 2 regrets.
Really,
Blake and Lowry. Yeah, I don't think I should have taken Lowry.
You sounded really confident in Lowry.
I know, but now I don't know what I'm doing. He's a little old.
He's a little. I don't know what I'm doing. That's a good endorsement. Ball with Neil at Ball with Neil. Remind him that he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's the pressure of these drafts, right? It's hard for me to sometimes my mind just races a bit, and I just kind of reach for someone.
I think, look, but even like when you're doing an actual draft, you have a minute to make a snap decision.
Right.
And it's like but that's why we do these things so that it's impossible to measure out every scenario, but at the very least, you're somewhat prepared whether you're picking at the top of the draft, middle, or in the back, so you know who's available, what you're up against. And again, like I've been kind of pounding on, is that late second round can get really wild really quickly.
This is interesting to see how exactly that was. This is my first. You said you did your 1-man mock.
I just did it.
Have you done any other mocks? This is my very first one of the.
No, this is the first one that I've done in an official sense.
Yeah. So this is. It's always good to get that out of your system.
I agree.
All right. So we're going to talk. I want to talk to you a little bit about your lessons learned in fantasy, or any sort of fantasy 101 stuff that you think either A, that you've learned and you're like, this is like words of wisdom I'm going to live by the rest of my drafts, or B, because of the season and the idiosyncrasies of the season,
Yeah.
are you going to do differently because of this upcoming season?
Yeah. So why don't we do this? Because I know you'll want to chime in also. I'll give you two. You give me two. Do you have two?
Oh, I have many.
You have a million. Oh, you have many.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have many.
You have lots of regrets, Neil. Like that's what we're learning on this pod.
Yes.
I have a bunch. I'll try to keep it to just a couple. I think one thing that I learned the hard way, particularly in one league that I did, it was a daily head-to-head league, where I don't think I fully anticipated all the Kawhi rest this year. It was a thorn in my side. But the thing is that in the draft that I did, I paired him up with Joel Embiid. And I was a big believer in both of those individual players. And obviously, like they're both excellent, on a per game basis. They're superstars. There's no doubt. So you think, pairing them together, that's a no-brainer. Except the problem is that, in any sort of, head-to-head format, you got to have some level of consistency towards the top of your draft. And I think I learned that lesson the hard way, because the team that ended up winning had both James Harden and Karl Anthony Towns on it.
How in the world did that happen?
Well, it happened, I think, either via trade. Actually, I think it did happen via trade. So he ended up with both those guys, and again, both those guys played the entire season. They're on paper a perfect pairing, and in a daily head-to-head, you need guys who suit up. So I think the main lesson for me is that, look, you can take wild stabs at guys, especially in this day and age. We know guys are going to rest. We know there's injury risk with everyone, but it's important to have some level of stability on your team, but also understand the environment you're playing in. Daily is tough, and but if your top guys aren't showing up on a daily basis, it makes it even harder on yourself with roster construction and setting lineups every day.
When you say daily head-to-head, you mean it's still week-to-week though matchups, right?
Oh yeah. It's still week-to-week matchups, but like it's with
lineup changes every day.
Lineup changes every day.
Got it. Yeah, I was in two of those leagues last year, 14 team and a 12 team, and that was my biggest challenge. So can I go next? Do you have a second lesson?
Just like the mock draft, we'll just go back and forth.
All right. So, most of my fantasy experience prior to coming to Hoop Ball was rotisserie. And I was in 3 leagues last year. I finished first in all 3 regular season.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But in both head-to-head leagues, I lost in the final round in the championship. And that's really where I could have been knocked out earlier too. It was like coin flips going through the playoffs. So I really have to understand playoffs. And what I think I need to understand is how to manipulate that add and drop system in the playoffs. You have like 4 add drops. How do you plan ahead of time? How do you look at your opponent and try to make sure you're not, if you're like a good scoring team, but your opponent is better, then you're not for that week. It's tough to try to like compete in that category. So you have to compete in other categories. I'm just really learning about the head-to-head playoffs. I don't really have a lesson learned, except that's something I don't know yet how to do properly.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, it's. I will say that's a struggle. I think for anyone doing head-to-head is the decision. First of all, you have to get to the playoffs, and I'm a big believer in that. Like, worry about getting there first,
right?
And then you can figure out the playoffs once you're there. Because a lot of people will say, they'll draft based on, players' playoff schedule. And I think that's kind of nonsense, because anything can happen in the weeks leading up to the playoffs where that's rendered completely moot. However, what I would say is that it's a very difficult lesson to understand when you should stick with the guys that brought you there versus deciding that, no, I have to gamble on that there might be a hot player who's got 4 games that week and they fill whatever categories or whatever that I'm deficient in, and I just got to go for it. Mm-hmm. Guy like, Thomas Bryant, for example, who like would, help win a bunch of leagues for that reason. It's tough to kind of pull the trigger on that because it could come at the expense of a guy that, like, yeah, he's been a top 75 guy all year and consistent. You can't do consistent in the playoffs. You gotta, like, if the top 75 guy delivers you a top 75 week, that's fine and good. But if your opponent's stacked and you need to make a run, and you got a guy who you believe could put up a top 40 week, given injury and opportunity, then you got to go for it.
Yeah, and I think that's hard. I'm a numbers person, but I'm also that emotional component. You don't want to let go of a guy.
Tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. You got to try to it's an art and science for sure.
Was that your second lesson, or is that just
no?
That was your addendum to mine.
Listen, you have regrets, and I'm trying to talk you out of those regrets. I'm just here being your therapist, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Did I have a second lesson learned?
Yeah.
Let me think. Do more mock drafts. No, that's just a lesson for Dan. God, why am I stumbling right now? Because I did have a lesson learned that I wanted to share, but I did not. Oh man, now like I'm drawing a blank as I'm stammering on this podcast. Do you have another one ready to go? And I'll get back to you.
Well, my big lesson is if you're new to fantasy or somewhat new, and you're in a 12-team deeper leagues,
yeah,
or not like an 8 or 10-team league. I always end up dropping. I do a ton of ad drops throughout the season. And so I would say of my, let's say I draft 13 players. 10, you have 10 starters and 3 bench players. I would say I end up even if I didn't make any trades, I would only have 8 or 9 of those guys by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I'm going to be dropping probably 3 to 4 of my bottom 6 picks. Just for waiver wire pickups. So when I'm drafting, rankings don't even matter after round 8 or 9. I'm just going for upside.
Gotcha.
I'm going to be dropping guys left and right. So I'm not looking for the safe 100 ranked player. I'm looking for the player that's a boom or bust once I get to like the 10th round.
Gotcha.
Unless there's like a specific category need I'm lacking, and there's like a rebound block specialist still out there that I can pick up. But if my team is pretty much filled out, I'm just going for upside, and I would rather pick someone who's like 170th on the board, who I think who could bust out versus the 110th guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'll build on that a little bit because this is I wouldn't say lesson learned as much as it is my approach to drafting. I don't focus on categories necessarily. I try to build the best team possible. And then I try to let, like I said earlier, I try to let the draft come to me. So depending on where I pick, no player is going to be perfect across every category, and you're going to have some level of deficiency. But I think I try to balance between getting the best player available, but trying to compete in every category. That to me is, if I give up a category early, regardless of what it is, then I'm already starting at a bit of a disadvantage. Because if I'm giving up a category, the best thing that I can really now do on a week-to-week basis is essentially play 8 to 1. But how hard? But it's not. But that's in and of itself is very difficult, depending on the league that you're in, and I'm sure depending on the opponents that you're up against. There's plenty of good basketball players out there that if you're in a 10-team league and you're punting a category already, you're still not there's still plenty of fish in the sea for someone to build a stacked team, and you're, and you're up against someone else who's strong in all the other counting stats, if you will. And field goal percentage is something that can fluctuate on a week-to-week basis, especially in head-to-head. I mean, cold shooting games happen, and if someone goes 4 for 20, which isn't out of the ordinary, it kind of crushes your week. So that's not a stat that you can necessarily rely on a week-to-week basis, but I try to balance that out. I try to understand that, like, look, there are ebbs and flows to the season, injuries happen, and depending on how all that goes, as the season progresses, and even as the draft progresses, I'll be good in some areas, I'll be not so good in some areas, and I'll try to address them both within the draft as well as throughout the season, that I can't go in with the mentality of, well, I picked LeBron James in the first round, therefore I have to punt free throw shooting, for example. Or, you know, I picked a big man early on, therefore I'm going to punt three-pointers. For example, like I think to me, I think is building to the best of your ability, building a balanced lineup allows you to compete on a week in, week out basis head-to-head leagues.
Yeah, and I would just add from a rotisserie perspective, it's really hard to win if you punt a category. If you're at you get 12 points, let's say, for the first place of 12-team league, and you get a 1 in a category, it's really hard, at least the leagues I've been in, to be able to balance. You have to really be near the top of every category, like 11 or 12, to have a shot. So,
wow.
I would not recommend it for rotisserie unless you're like in a beginner league. Then maybe you can get away with it. But it's been fun, Josh.
We got deep there. That was deep.
We got deep. Thanks for the support.
Dude, you doing all right? You don't have any more regrets about this podcast, do you?
No, but I'm looking back at the mock and I'm wondering. I haven't done my rankings yet. I wonder where Blake and I actually, once we get off this podcast,
you're going to look and you're going to text me and you're going to be filled with regret.
I'll be like, Blake is my
again.
42nd guy. What the heck was I doing drafting him?
You're stuck with him now.
Yeah. All right. Any closing comments?
Players only, baby.
Hey, you want to come back on next week?
Let me get back to you on that.
I
do want to, but let me check my schedule.
Right.
But I want to.
Get back. If not, I'll find somebody.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll try to find somebody. All right.
They can't take this mock, though.
They can't. No, this is just you and I. All right, everybody. He's Josh Millman, at Josh Millman on Twitter. I am Nero Chelani, at Ball with Neil on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Again, our sponsor is Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. Coach and Adrian will be on tomorrow. They will be talking about, I think, Summer League. Coach, went to Summer League. Wait, by the way, you ever been to Summer League, Josh?
I have not, but it's Vegas, so one of these days I'm going to get out there.
Yeah, I think so. It's a high time in Vegas. Brewski mentioned last year perhaps there would have been a hoop ball gathering, but
a hoop ball summit.
Yeah, didn't seem to materialize. Anyway,
twist my arm.
Yeah, exactly. All right, they will be on tomorrow talking, I think, like I said, Summer League and rookies. And Dan will be back on Monday. Thanks for listening.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.